Okay, so I decided to throw a bunch of Gravelocks into my deck, which is 9 new cards. I bought 2 Gravelock Elders, so now I have 3 of those. Um, but I didn't have to, but I chose to remove 9 other cards. So Ember, whatever, that stupid one that does 2 damage every time something attacks, I got rid of that because I find myself always sacking it. It has really powerful uses sometimes, but those times are so rare that I just didn't. It's not better than some of the other things in the universe. Getting rid of that ogre so I can have him around much later on. This is either a mixed deck or an order deck. And as I've said many times before, order has a lot of the most powerful single cost units in the game. And they also like to stick together because they have several units that benefit those around them. And charged coils make me happy. So the cool thing about charge coils, if he plays this, for example, a crossbowman, right, and he doesn't have anything else to play, then this does 1 damage to the crossbowman every turn, and it actually dies before it gets the chance to fire. So it limits what he can put on the table, especially if you get it down early enough that he doesn't have anything on the table at all. So still sacking for energy, still playing charge coils when I get the chance. Ether Pump has a similar functionality to Charge Coil, but it denies far fewer. Like a Charge Coil, because it hits every round for 1 damage to 1 unit, if he has nothing on the board, getting one thing down is very risky when there's Charge Coils up. Whereas Ether Pump does 1 damage to every unit every 3 rounds, so it doesn't prevent him from playing cards at all. It's more of a, if you have lots and lots of weak units, eventually they'll die unless you deal with this thing kind of card. So, Sector cards because I was down to 2. I don't know. I used to kind of sprint to 7 energy and have 0 cards in my deck, but I feel like that's a little bit silly because who needs 7 energy if you have nothing in your deck, right? Also, the fewer cards you have in the deck, the less opportunity you have to keep an important card that you just drew. Like if you have nothing in your deck and you draw the card that you want, you have to play it and just be out. What is this? Divine Mark. When enchanted creature is destroyed, if it was killed by damage from another unit, that unit is returned to the owner's hand. Oh, that's not very powerful, but it just means that if my spark kills him, which it's about to, then the spark goes back to my hand. So I've always used the clock library as a wall. I understand how powerful it is when it ticks down and gives you 3 cards. I think getting 3 free cards is always more powerful than soaking up 5 damage, which could potentially be denying the attacks from 3 units, right? But it's so, I don't know. In the early game, when I was first learning to play, I played a lot of versus AI, and I played against a lot of energy. And there's so many things that you can use to just knock this back to my deck. So you can wait 4 turns and then use pushback, or you can wait 4 turns and then use tick bomb, or you can hit it with a burn and a spark, or stuff like that. So I've kind of treated it like because it's so uncommon for me to get it to live long enough to actually go off, I've treated it as sort of, well, it's going to die anyway, but at least now I know what lane he's going to attack. Because if I put this in the front of a lane, he's going to attack that lane. Like you notice, even though my sparks, my charge coils are doing a lot more strategically for me than the clock library, he's going to go into this lane and be like, well, this is the lane because of the clock library. So I always liked that kind of taunting wall functionality of it, you know? So I would like this to go here, but whatever. Here's good enough, and then I'd like to play a Gravelock Elder up behind it. I'm going to hold on to this guy to get rid of. If I get 2 Gravelock Elders down, this would be a 3/5 card, which is very good. But I might draw, like an ogre or a 3rd Gravelock Elder next turn, and I would want to have this still in my hand if that happens. So see, he played a wall and 2 crossbowmen, and both crossbowmen died before they got a chance to even shoot once. So that's the power of opening up charge coils. Always really liked, like, it's just luck of the draw. I've got 50 cards in my hand, and I happened to draw 2 of the 3 that I really wanted early on. So lots of Gravelock Elders and a Gravelock Outcast. So I put all, like I said, I put all of the Gravelock cards into my hand. What happened to my? I didn't look. Maybe this guy killed it. So I have 3 Outcasts, which are basically just a 2/3 creature with nothing special about them because I don't have a mixed deck, and 3 of the little these guys, which are 3/4 relentless as long as I have 2 elders on the map, which is quite cool. And there goes the clock library, giving me lots of cards. Let's put another clock library down. Mwahaha. Fury is actually quite good at this point because I'm pretty far ahead on map control. So let's put a wall in front of this one. This is the first time in a ranked game I've ever had more than 1 Gravelock Elder, even in my deck, let alone on the field. And this is pretty cool, man. They're both 4/6, and this guy's 3/4. I like it. Synergies, baby, synergies. Heritage and Crown of Strength, +2 health to a unit that only takes a single damage every time it's hit, regardless of, like, if an Iron Ogre who's supposed to do 7 damage and has Relentless hits this guy when he has 2 health, then it just absorbs his entire shot. So with Relentless, this guy's going to kill both of them as long as I can give him +1 damage somehow, which I can't. So either so if we go down and we put this here and we play a Scattergunner, and then we regret having not split for cards before making our moves, then the combination of those things pop. So Violent Dispersal sends 1 card of his to the graveyard. Ba-boom! And Cannon Automaton is one of my big, sexy, valuable cards. I don't know that the order decks like his, they rely on getting an early lead and keeping it all game long, which is why it's unfortunate that he didn't draw any one order cards that he could have used to get rid of my charge coils before things got out of hand. It's just the luck of the draw, I guess. Either that or he had cards in his hand and didn't want to use them for some reason. Boom! Pop like a balloon. So, Fury is quite awesome at this moment. I want to play him. This is not going to be very handy, just because I've got such huge map control and I don't think I'm ever going to lose it. And I can't play Cannon Automaton and Fury. So let's just do this. So 4 and 4 would kill that idol. This guy, he's going to take 2 damage from, well, 1 damage from that, but it wouldn't kill him. Anyway, I don't care. I'm so far ahead I don't really need to think too much about trying to get the idols. I'll just go at random and see when I win. Cannon Automaton. This was very unfortunate for him that I got 2 charge coils and an ether pump and a clock library all really early. Alright, so he just played a card which allows him to dig through his deck and get the next structure, and then he played the structure that he found, the obelisk. It's important to get structures out, again, because of the charge coil and ether pump. Well, not so much the ether pump, but because of the charge coil. So I want to play that, but let's sack for energy first. And then say, it's most important to get the charge coil out, because charge coils are the man now, dog. Then we'll move this guy up. And then we'll play Fury. And then we'll kill him. Oh, I thought that guy was relentless. Whatever. This guy is relentless. So the black coat is nothing, and the like weird chainmail looking kind of coat maybe is relentless. Oh, he lived with 1 health, and now he gets to attack relentlessly for 3 damage. I'm pretty much dead. I don't know if I can survive 3 whole damage. No, he gives up as well. I'm on his side with that giver uppering, although I'd prefer to get the 400 gold from winning to the 200 from causing him to give up. I think, yeah. It's better for him to save both of our times and just admit defeat. So, 1 more, and he gives up, so that was a good one. And then we'll try again. I wonder if games, like I got 60 gold for him surrendering immediately. That's kind of silly. I should get nothing if he surrenders within the first second. Like, this Boomjack, is this the same guy or a different guy? I don't understand. I just wanted to play a game. I don't need the gold. Okay, so that's a different avatar. Maybe he won't give up. And his name is Nito. Gravelock Elder, Scattergunner, Fury. Don't need Fury early on. That's a card that's great when you have map control, but not very useful until then, so I'll sack it. Destroyer is great space control. He's an order deck, so he wants to have his guys clumped up. So like if you play a Destroyer here and a Destroyer here, it's now completely impossible for him to stack his guys up, so that's always fun. Again, Iron Ogre will be strong later on, but for now it's not very strong. And this guy will pretend he's a 3 hit point wall. And someone was pointing out what I agree with, which is that Gravelock Elders are just an all-around good card, whether or not you have other Gravelocks in your deck. And I agree with that, but I had to choose between, you know, Gravelock Elder and other structures and creatures and stuff. And I just didn't think that by himself he was really better than very much. Like, Proxy Mine is 2 walls, whereas he's only 1. Scattergunner can do 4 damage every 2 rounds, whereas he does 3. I guess he's kind of better than Scattergunner. I don't know. Anyway. So that guy's going to kill... No, he's not going to kill this guy. I need to sack something. I like Proxy Charge because he's playing a melee deck. I like all these things, but Scattergunner's the one I like the least. This guy's +1 attack for everyone in his row, so this guy used to be 1-2, but now he's 2-2. And this guy's +1 health for everyone in his row. So if I could somehow kill this guy first, then this guy'd have 3 health. Like I said, Order deck is all about the strong early cards. These guys cost 2 and 1, and this guy costs 1. So together, they're quite powerful because they each benefit the whole row. So Charge Coil, I need to get up almost no matter what. Destroyer is... Everything in this hand is something that I really like, but I can save this guy by playing that, I think. Oh, he only did 1 damage. Plate armor. Bummer. That's a bummer, man. So these guys each give him +1 health, and he has plate armor, so he has a combined health of 4 plus the number of attackers, which could be a lot. A lot. Also, I think it makes him immune to Charge Coil. Oh, now he's going to kill my little dude. Did you see Flip move a target somewhere else? And he gets to choose the place too, and that's like the most annoying place. Again, if I play this guy here, it makes it so that he can't keep his guys grouped up on this top half of the map. So that's fun. I really want both of these cards, and I know that I should sack one, but shut up or I'll punch your face. That's how I feel about that. Oh, and he gets to kill him. Bummer. That's a bummer, man. That's like a bummer, man. So, this guy's gonna get at least 1 shot off, I hope. So again, Charged Coil. Super powerful when you have map control because it prevents him from playing any cards at all. Mediumly powerful if he already has map control because you're under a constant threat of just being dead. But it does do reasonable DPS. And so I wish that I'd been able to play it before he got anything down, but you know, he's still okay for now. Once I get a Hell Splitter Mortar in front of him, he'll be pretty protected as well. If I can get a Hell Splitter Mortar in front of him. Ooh, cool. So it'd be nice to kill this guy. But I can't. But now I can if I get burned again. Ha 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 ha. He has 2 health. Playing up there would just make him dead. Play him there. This could either force them to go up, which would be neat because it'd keep my charge coil alive even longer, or it could force them to stay here, which again gives me one more turn of the charge coil living. Or I could just kill one of them, which would be even cooler. I think he'll kill him through his plate armor too, because plate armor is -1 damage. All combat damage to... So the rocks that take only 1 damage say all damage reduced to 1. That one says all combat damage reduced by 2. Does combat damage just mean things like this? I'm curious. So I want to play this and this, but I don't know if I can because I don't have enough energy. Ha 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 ha. So it looks like we're about to get map control unless something drastic happens. So he's still at 4 order, and because it's more important to get lots of cards early on and try to establish early map control. Once I get map control, like I believe I almost have, then order becomes pretty weak. They have a lot of neat spells that give them additional cards that give them the opportunity to maintain that early lead even more so. But this guy hasn't happened upon drawing any of them. What does that Resonant Helm do? Healed by 1 every time, so he's got combination of lots of cool stuff. Next round I can sack for an Ogre if I don't play that right now, so I'm not going to play it. Kill that guy. Yes. Oh, don't hit him. Not only does he not take damage, but even if he did, he heals it. This guy's been soaking up my charge coils. He's a charged coil soaker. And again, I don't care how many idols he kills as long as that number is less than 3. Although that's bit me in the past where I let him kill 2 idols and then I play seriously in front of the last idol and then he sprints through and gets it anyway. That's no fun. My plan is to get my Ogre on this square pretty soon, but I don't know if he likes my plan or if I'll draw something that makes me not want to do it. Oh, that's kind of weird. Why would he do that? Like, that's a really powerful card. He can use it to get rid of my Ogre, for example. And instead, he used it to get rid of basically nothing. So, do I want to play the Ogre, or do I want another Charge Coil and a Hell Splitter Mortar? I think the answer is obvious. Thank you. Split this for cards. Play the Mortar here, and the Charged Coil here. And there we go. It's always so uncommon for me to actually want to play my Ogre. I'm like, Ogre is so powerful. But, you know, I mean, a Charged Coil and a Mortar is actually more powerful. Because, I mean, he can just push back the Ogre like the card that he just played. The Ogre could potentially get his damage absorbed by plate if he is able to put... Like, if I had the Ogre here, and he can now only attack into 2 lanes, and if he puts a guy here and a guy here and puts plate on... Not plate, or, I mean, those things that stop him. I guess plate armor doesn't stop the Ogre. But, plating stops the Ogre, and that rock that he can summon stops the Ogre. There's just lots of things that can go wrong with such an expensive, slow-moving creature like the Ogre, whereas something like the Charged Coil, always good, no matter what. And Chain Lightning, always good, no matter what, too. So now I have complete and total map control. Anything he summons gets hit 3 times. If I'd actually not sacked that Destroyer and instead stacked the Ogre, I could have put 1 Destroyer here and 1 Destroyer here and gotten even more map control, which would have been cool. This guy's going to live forever. Honorable General. This guy for cards. I think I'll play my ogre as a wall, because I have map control anyway. I don't need to try to keep him alive until he can attack. I don't even need to attack. Just need a wall. I suspect he will actually live long enough to attack, even though I played him as a wall. Maybe not. So in 2 rounds this guy goes again, and in 2 rounds this guy goes again. So the Honorable General actually isn't going to help this guy at all. We'll see. With the sparks down, I don't know if some things are going to die before we care too much. Sack for cards. Destroyers, similarly extremely powerful, but not as powerful as the Gravelock Elder and Scattergunner and Outcast. Like, at this point I have map control, and the Destroyer is a map control card. And, like, for example, if I played another structure here, I'd never get this idle down. So I'd be protecting a structure that does... I mean, I don't know. I don't need more map control. I need units to do damage to structures. I have 4 units in my hand right now, so I got rid of the one thing that isn't a unit. Tempting to do that. This is the weakest link. You are the weakest link. 3 damage to structures times 2. Do that and that. I think I'm going to put the Gravelock Elder over here. Actually, if I put the Cannon Automaton over here, it can actually kill the idol in 2 rounds. Oh, you know how Concentrated Fire plus Cannon Automaton does 10 damage and just kills an idol straight up? I took Concentrated Fire out of my deck in exchange for these weak-ass Gravelock Outcasts and Gravelock Raiders. Just so you know. And I am not yet regretting the decision, because Concentrated Fire is so situationally powerful, and it's a great way to end a game that he doesn't think is about to end, and that can come into play very heavily in the late game if the game is really even. Or like if you're behind and you just need to sprint down an idol, that can be great. But the Gravelocks are good all the time, right? I guess they're actually terrible if you're not at least even, but if you're ahead, then they're quite good. And I'm usually ahead. Okay, I usually start off behind and then get ahead, but I figured if I put more cheapo cards in my deck, then I would be ahead more often. So this guy, every round he's healed by 1. No, every time you play an enchantment, he's healed by 1. So it's not every round, just every time you play an enchantment. I can't believe how long this guy's gonna live. I still have no creatures down, but I have total map control, and this is when the animations of these guys becomes a little bit annoying. Oh, heals all idols and units by 1 and draw 2 scrolls. That is an amazingly powerful card. I've never even seen that before. That's really good. And it increases your order by 1. Wow. Wow, that's a great card. I like that card. It's unfortunate that he played it at a time when none of his idols had taken any damage, and his guy, he only had 1 guy that needed healing, but it's not like saving it would have worked out either. Finally got rid of that guy. Sack for energy, and play a Copper Automaton. I could probably hold on to that. I don't think I need proxy charges. I have too much map control for it to be worth wasting a square on it. Incendiary's not good against order in general, because he only has 2 structures that I know of. One only takes 1 damage instead of 3 from this, and the other has 5 health, so this doesn't kill it anyway. Plus, it would just die to charged coils. Both the structure types he have would just die to charged coils. So these 2 cards I want to sack. This card I don't want to sack so much as I want to hang on to it in case he gets anything with 6 health. That's going to take 3 from these guys and then 4 more from him, right? Actually, that's more than 6. Some number greater than 6 by 1. But anyway, this game's over, I win. Ta-da! That's how you build anticipation of the upcoming rounds. Like, okay, so if the game's over, then what could happen in the next couple of rounds? And this is when, like, when you're completely screwed, you have to chew it over and think about everything to try to get back into the game. But when you're completely screwed, that's when you should least want to be wasting 90 seconds. Like, get on to the next game. Either, what's it called? Give up, surrender, or, play quickly and hope you come back, but don't think that you will. We'll see. We'll see. This is a spiky McSpikington, great against melee characters like this one, but not very good against ranged characters like all the other ones. Decimation. Do 1 damage to everything in the round and do 2 damage to my... It's tempting to play that as a wall there, but do I even really need a wall at this point, you know? I guess why not? I wish I could get rid of this. Boom. It's funny to use this guy to kill a spiky, because then the spiky does 2 damage to you, but he's dead, and this guy was going to die anyway, so it all works out. But yeah, because of charge coils, I don't really need to worry about anything. I don't think there's a single card in his deck that would be able to, on its own, be played and actually attack before dying. So he has 2 of those. He actually got rid of a charge coil. Okay, he gives up. And it is a wise decision for him to give up. And again, I only get $300 instead of 400. I don't know if that's just because the game didn't go on for the proper number of turns, or if that has to do with surrendering. I think